Okay, boys, welcome back to my channel. This is an exciting time of the year for me. I love football. I live and breathe and eat and sleep football. So this is a very exciting time for me. I couldn't be more excited to make this video. Today, I'm gonna have gameplay for you, and this is unfortunately Madden 18. So I don't get the early edition of the game. So I won't get gameplay until Tuesday, August 7th, but I'll be sure to bring that for you. Today I want to go over the new features and what I'm excited for in this year's Madden coming up. There's a lot of good things going on. Not as much as I was hoping for, but I guess they're working on franchise mode a lot, and Mutt got huge improvements too. So let's start getting over the new features here, and they added some new positions as well. Let's go over that real quick. Madden this year in Madden, there will be a brand new position depth charts. The new depth charts will include the following positions, and we got a power halfback, rush right defensive end, rush left defensive end, rush defensive tackle, slot cornerback, slot wide receiver, which I thought they had a slot wide receiver already, but maybe not. And then the sub linebacker. Of course, if you haven't, you can pre-order this game. You can get the standard edition, which is going to have the cover player of Antonio Brown, or you can do the Hall of Fame edition, which is going to have Terrell Owens in it, in my opinion. And right now, this year for the first time ever, they have a record-setting 99 club. If you don't know what 99 club is where these players are rated 99 overall, and they got more than they've ever had before. So this year you have obviously Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Gronk, Von Miller, Luke Kuechly, Antonio Brown, which is on the cover, and Aaron Donald. And now on to the features for Madden 19. EA is always making sure that there's different tweaks and changes to Madden each year, and this year is no different. This year they're going to have custom drafts in fantasy mode for all those franchise mode for all those franchise people out there like me. I love franchise mode. It's usually where I go right off the rip when I put it in the game. Except for last year, I went right to the story mode that they had, which is okay. It wasn't my favorite. Which is returning this year as well. They have a second edition, and from what I hear, there's more gameplay in this one compared to last year's, where it was mostly more chats and storyline mode and stuff like that. But this year, that's going to get a little buff up. But anyways, back to the first note here is custom drafts. So when you're in franchise mode, when you're recruiting and all these prospects or whatever, you get a custom draft mode where you can set it up the way you see fit. It would literally take forever because there's like 7 rounds in the NFL draft, maybe even 8. Either way, it would take a long time for you to set that up. But there's some people out there who will spend that time. So what you need to do, if you don't have the time for that, which I'm assuming probably a lot of you guys don't, you'll have to go download some other ones that other people have made. I'm sure they have the real one that might be coming out this year, or just some fantasy one. Either way, it'll be accustomed to the way you want it and make it more realistic. And the next thing, zone coverage AI. Um, if you're one of the Madden players that think that zone coverage in the game has been lacking in the last few years, well, there's some good news for you. It's been revealed that players' AI has been getting some form of an upgrade when playing zone coverage on defense. Now, this, in my opinion, depends on what difficulty you play on, because if you play on Hall of Fame mode, which is the hardest one, that defense doesn't make a mistake. Neither does the offense, and if they do, it's rare. So adding a buff to the AI is gonna be rough. Which might be good on like a normal mode. But if you're like one of the players that like to go out and play on the hardest level, that could actually be some bad news for you. Alright, and the next one is one cut. A bit more like a true step feature that I introduced in Madden a few years back. And this is a new feature that gives players a more realistic step, leading to cut and dart around the field. This is awesome, but it's also a negative, because for years now we've been learning how to run the ball. Now it's going to change. It's going to be more realistic, which is a good thing, don't get me wrong. But relearning this is probably going to make you upset. It's going to kind of piss you off trying to relearn how to do all this. But I'm sure within time, you'll get a good grasp on it, and you'll be just fine. But if you want to make a sharp cut, now you're going to be able to do it, instead of taking the round corners, and it's just going to be more realistic, and I can't wait to see it. It's something like NHL just did with their beta. They bumped up their skating, which is phenomenal. EA is getting it down with the physics of realisticness of these games, and that is one of the main things I love about so far in both of these titles, between Madden and NHL. Okay, and the next one here is hit the home. The new feature sounds like it'll let player AI find gaps in the defense more easily and run through the holes, which is probably your BC vision. You're going to have better opportunities to hit holes and hit them faster and more aggressively, especially with the one cut addition to that. And then all three of these kind of group together, because now the next one's push the pile. A new feature that looks set to be geared towards the contact at the line of scrimmage. This should help you gain critical yards in tight situations. So now you can also adjust, I don't know if this is within skill traits or what, but you can make your line in like a 4th and inches or 4th and 1 situation to push up, just run that defensive line back and get yourself a first down. Or maybe even at the goal line, perhaps. I would love to see more about that, the push the pile. If that's going to be part of the attributes that you do to your players, or is that just something you can do during game play? So that leads us to franchise mode. Franchise mode is returning this year and will allow players to choose the offense and defensive schemes that fit their style in a single player or multiplayer seasons. These schemes are linked to a new progressive system based on the authentic position archetypes, leading you to try to build for the future and achieve success quickly. So now instead of having to do progression on each player and where you want to put them, you have positional progression, and you can add it to let's say you got a 70 rated player. You can build them up fast and make them instantly successful, or you can build them for the future, like if you have, let's say, Antonio Brown, but you drafted a backup receiver. Then you can build them up slowly as Antonio Brown gets better, because if you get hit, more likely if you get the backup player up too high, his value is going to be too much, and either you're going to be paying up the rump to get him, to keep him, or you're going to have to trade him off, or he's going to go somewhere else in free agency. So that, you know, you can play both. You know, let's say Antonio Brown goes down, you can jack that guy up, and he's ready to go now. So that's a good attribute for this year in franchise mode. I really like that compared to doing the workhorse of each player like I did last year. And for the first time this year, Madden is allowing you to have some unique celebrations. Normally, celebrations are pretty laid back, you know, high fives, doing, you know, hugs and a whole bunch of lame crap. This year, you can celebrate with a full collection of fan favorite signature celebrations and bring the swagger back to your NFL gameplay. Which I hear, you know, they like, you can do the bomb, throw the bomb, everyone falls down, and a bunch of silly stuff. So that's a cool little feature. I wonder if you can create your own, or if they're all created for you. I'm not really sure. Probably all created for you, because, you know, we don't get that awesomeness all the time over here, so. Okay, so now we're on to, we're not going to leave this one out, because this is also a favorite of mine, and probably a huge favorite of a lot of yours, is MUT Legends, or the MUT gameplay. Get some of the greatest players in NFL history on your Madden Ultimate team starting day one, and each of these legend players highlights a specific game in their career. There are a few ways to earn these superstars. There are a full version of Legends roaming Ultimate Team packs for those lucky enough to find them. And then they also can be won in the auction house. Lower overall versions of each legend is available through packs and auction house too. Gather them all, head to the set to be rewarded for a full legend version. You can also earn power-up edition by beating each legend team in solo challenges. Power up legends for impact, or use the full legend to take a potential to the next level, adding additional chemistry available. Alright, it's no different than what last year's is. You know, you got a bunch of challenges, you can bump up each of these legends that you get. This year's legends will be Bruce Smith from Buffalo Bills. One of my favorites, you know, a huge Broncos fan. Champ Bailey from Denver Broncos. Derek Brooks from Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lorenzo Neal from the Los Angeles Chargers. Good old Randy Moss. That's a good one right there. That'd be a card to keep to max out for sure. From the Minnesota Vikings. Sean Taylor from the Washington Redskins. Steve Hutchinson from the Seahawks. And good old Steve Young. That'd be a good one to get as well. Ted Hendricks from the Raiders. Willie Roaf from the Saints. So also in MUT, we'll have player upgrades. The design that drove most of the amount of feedback in MUT 18 was unquestionably the power-up players. It allows you to have the most powerful vision of a player, but it came with some limitations that we could not handle without additional development. We definitely heard and understood the feedback and invested the building to support the power-up players with power upgrades for MUT 19. The developers of Madden NFL 19 was to streamline the process, and it started with building a new currency type. Training. Training is one of the things you'll need to power up players in MUT 19. The primary way you'll earn training is by a quick sell items you don't need. More training, which I find really cool that you'd be able to individually train your players, gain rewards for it, and work on areas that they might be weaker on. I mean, this will take you more time away from gameplay, but it'll definitely improve you against competition. But that's awesome. I really appreciate all that. So one of the big differences in Mod 19 is that you will be able to downgrade and go backwards on a player that you want to get out of it. By doing so, you will also be refunded a portion of what you're invested in that player. So an example of this, you got Aaron Rodgers' base power up is 80. You got a tier 1, you can get him up to 82 overall, which requires 100 training points. Tier 2, get him to 84, requires 200 training points. And you get him at 87 overall, requires an 86 overall core elite card. So yeah, you're not just doing training, you also need a card as well. So that's gonna, that's a little microtransaction kind of thing going on there, which kind of sucks. But maybe you might be lucky enough to unlock it. Chances are probably unlikely. So in that example, you have to acquire the base version of Aaron Rodgers' power-up. This item is auctionable, tradable up until the point where you invest 100 training points into him and reach tier 1. From there, putting 200 training or more into him and able to reach tier 2. And finally, after acquiring 86 overall core elite, you place that into a power up as well. If you want to go backwards and stop investing in Aaron Rodgers for whatever reason, you can choose to downgrade. When you downgrade from tier 3 to tier 2, you will get a core elite Aaron Rodgers back. And if that core elite was auctionable, then when you invest in him, he will return as auctionable. Going from that tier 2 to tier 1 will get you a percent of 200 training points you invested, and you get them back. You are still determined what the percent will be, but we will let you know as soon as that number is settled. And finally, going from tier 1 to the base, make the base item auctionable again. So yeah, you can build up players, bring them back down. It's an interesting concept. I don't know why you would ever do that with an Aaron Rodgers card, personally. But you know, that's cool though. If you want to try to trade him up for something else, I like that. That's good. So how many times have you saw a brand new player come out and he looks absolutely sick, except his chemistry doesn't match what you personally value? Most of us would say, come on, EA. Well, MUT producers are removing themselves from that equation and turning it over to you, the player. In Mod 19, almost no player will come with chemistry outside of the team chemistry already equipped. Instead, you will have the option to upgrade that player, which opens up a chemistry slot and a bank of full available options. Let's do a very basic but common example. You acquire a core player, gold player. When you acquire him, he has nothing but his team chemistry equipped. But when you click on the player and choose the upgrade tier, or choose the upgrade to tier 1, you unlock the team chemistry slot. From there, tab over and you'll see that you have a blank filled with available scheme chemistry options. You will get to choose one to equip. And just as you've done with the upgrade tiers, you will have the ability to remove and change chemistry as well. If you have the equip balance offense and you want to change it to go deep, go right ahead. Madden Ultimate Team wants to continue delivering ways to let the personalization and customization of your team and bring the ability to choose your chemistry loadout is a great opportunity for that goal. And that's absolutely amazing. Because I couldn't tell you how many times I couldn't get my full chemistry on that team that I was working on. And this right here helps you a lot, and I love it. There was also a new addition that I came across that I heard there was like a side announcer, an introduction announcer. That's new to this year's Madden. It's Jonathan Coachman, also is known as Coach. He has been known to be on ESPN and WWE. So I personally can't stand him. He annoys the hell out of me. But maybe for some of you guys, that's a good thing, a good improvement. For me, I'm not a big fan of that. Hopefully, I'm wrong, but it seemed like it was pretty legit. So overall, the feel I have for this game is really good. I think Madden's taking a good step forward. I would have liked to see a graphics boost maybe a little bit, but I still think the character models are a little bit weak compared to what they should be. But the smoothness of the game, the way it looks and feels, I think it's going to be a good game. I have high hopes for it, guys. I do. It's a good step. Hopefully they continue on working on career mode, franchise mode. I still, the biggest complaint I have is, why can't we draft? Why can't our player that we create be in the draft? And that's the biggest complaint I have right now, and it's been for years. It was like MLB has it, 2K has it for NBA. Why can't NFL adapt that? When you start a career, you're going to be drafted to whoever wants you, and that's part of the game that I think we all deserve, and I think most of us want, and still have the option to pick the team that we want to play for. As crappy as NHL's my player is, they even have that. So I think that's just something Madden needs to adapt. I don't know why they don't. It's a little frustrating. But anyways, this gameplay is awesome right here. It's definitely a game I should have never won. This is the pick right here. Woo! It changed the whole game. Go Von! That's Von Miller, baby. Woo! If you were watching the gameplay, you understand that this game was wild, and I should have never won it, but I did. Good stuff. Anyways, I'm excited for this series. I'm excited for this game. The game should come into my hands Tuesday. I don't get out of work until 2:30. Won't be home until 3:30. So it'll be maybe Wednesday before you see a gameplay from me. But I'll just be sure to have it up for you. We'll do probably a my player. I'll create someone for you, and we'll start doing that. And then I'll probably do a team franchise. I'm probably head coach. We'll work on that. But yeah, we got iced on that. They did everything in their power to make this go to overtime. But anyways, I enjoy doing this. I spent a lot of time actually making this video, surprisingly. So hope you enjoyed it. Give it a like if you did. If you didn't, give a thumbs down. It'd be awesome if you subscribe to me, because there's going to be more content like this. Hopefully a little bit better in the commentary section. But we're going to give it a try. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you have a great day.